Okay, so good evening, everyone. Welcome to this final session of this course, a live session of this course, The Joy of Computing Using Python. And in this session, we'll be primarily seeing some problems, some MCQ problems, and there will be some programming part associated with them. So we will try to cover those concepts as well. So let's get started. Uh, Throughout this 12 weeks, we have covered quite a lot of concepts in Python. And yeah, so let us go on seeing some of these questions that might help you cover many of the topics that we have seen so far. And some of you had asked queries in the previous session, so I'll also try to cover them during this session. So please be on the call. And towards the end of the call, we'll see those queries as well. Okay. So can someone please confirm if the screen is visible? So I've created this document which contains questions from the previous offering of the course. So somebody asked like they need some more questions for practice. So yeah, these are some practice questions for the all 12 weeks. So I've just clubbed them all together over here on this document. It took a lot of time, but yeah, I hope this helps. Okay, so let us see one by one all these questions. And at certain point, if you feel stuck, please feel free to stop me and we'll discuss that concept in detail. Okay, so the first question is, okay, let me zoom it in a bit. This is on week one topics. The cat wants to move 100 steps away slowly, and by the time it finishes moving 100 steps, it needs to slowly rotate as well towards the opposite direction. Can both these tasks be accomplished by using a single loop in Scratch? You can answer in chat, you can unmute and answer, and uh, yeah. So let's keep this session a bit interactive, and I'll try to cover as many concepts as I can. So the question is, the cat wants to move 100 steps away slowly, and by the time it finishes moving 100 steps, it needs to slowly rotate as well towards the opposite direction. Can both these tasks be accomplished by using a single loop in Scratch? So can someone please answer in chat?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Yeah, yeah. Please try to answer in chat unless you are not able to, put it over there. Okay. So yeah, we'll move ahead in your time. So yes, the answer is yes. So the next question is based on this particular question. Which block moves the cat as described in the previous question? So I'll have to zoom out a bit. So there, so there are four such blocks over here, and you'll have to tell which particular block does this particular step. Cat moves 100 steps away, and after it has moved 100 steps away, it needs to rotate towards the opposite direction. So this is A, B, C, and D. There are four blocks. So which one of them will do the job? Okay, what about others? Please try to answer. And if it is not clear to anyone, we'll see it in Scratch. Okay, let me just try to zoom it out a bit. Yeah, please quickly think over it. So in exam, you won't be getting much time, to uh, solve every single problem. So the strategy that you should be following is that you should first of all try to solve all the easy questions that you can, and then move on to the difficult ones. But do glance through all the questions first before, just skipping them. Okay, so let me quickly go over it. So the correct answer is answers C. So the cat needs to move 100 steps and turn in opposite direction. So let us just try this out in Scratch quickly. So it was that repeat. So it comes under control, and then there is a wait for 1 second, and then move 10 steps. That is in motion, and then turn 18 degrees. Okay, so let us run this. So cat is moving 100 degrees, sorry, 100 steps ahead, and yeah, it has moved in the opposite direction. What about the other one? There was one more option over here. Move 100 steps and turn 180 degrees. Okay, let me just reset it.
It will stay there only. It will not come back.
Yeah, just a sec. 100 and turn 180 degrees. Okay, so what's the difference between this and the previous one? Like in the previous one, we had a repeat loop. Okay, let me go over here. So what was happening over here and over here? What's the difference in these two? Okay, so the question you'll have to be careful. You have to see it carefully. Here, it is both of this. The end task is just the same. Like if you see the final state of the cat, it has moved 100 degrees. Sorry, not 100 degrees, 100 steps ahead and turned 180 degrees. Okay, similarly over here. So here it is doing in loop, like 10 steps at a time, 10 times, and 18 degrees at a time. So by the time it reaches the 10th iteration, it will be rotated 180 degrees. Okay. So, but the question here is the cat wants to move 100 steps away slowly. Okay. And by the time it finishes moving 100 steps, it needs to slowly rotate as well towards the opposite direction. So if you do this, this is like just moving straight forward 100 and then turning 180. So it's not moving slowly over there and then turn, and as it moves, it's not turning. So this is the correct answer. So you'll have to be very careful while reading the question. Okay. So that's why the correct accepted answer is this. Although the end task, like end state of the cat, the final state of the cat is the same in both of this. Is it clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
So the question one more time, sir.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll be sharing this with you. So yeah, it will be with you. This document will I'll share it with you. So the cat wants to move 100 steps away slowly, and by the time it finishes moving 100 steps, it needs to slowly rotate as well towards the opposite direction. So hence the correct option over here is C. Okay. So what does the cat say here in this question? So next question. I hope it is visible to everyone. Like, let me just zoom it in a bit. So we have set number to 4, repeat 10. So this particular block repeats 10 times. Say number 1, wait 1 second, and set number to number plus 4. Yeah. So you'll have to be very quick over here. Okay. So the correct answer over here is says number 4, and it multiplies for each second, each for 1 second till 40, and changes the value of number variable by adding previous value with 4. So this is straightforward. Does anyone need any explanation for this in Scratch, or else I'll move ahead. So what's happening over here quickly? So we are setting the number variable number to 4. Then we are doing this steps 10 times. The cat is saying the number for 1 second. So initially it says 4. Then it waits for 1 second. Then the number gets set to number plus 4. Okay. So the next time the number is set, it is set to 8. Then again the number is set to number plus 4, which is 8 plus 4, 12. So it is kind of like saying the table of 12 till the time it reaches 40. Is it clear, everyone? Yeah, you can also use this reaction option in this so that the chat box doesn't get flooded. So, okay, great. Let us move on to the next question. From the previous question, what is the value of the number variable after the loop ends? So, okay, let me bring it back over here. So from the previous question, what is the value of number variable after the loop ends?
40.
Yeah, thank you, Masan. But yeah, please try to answer it in chat. Okay, so let us see the answer. So answer is 44. What happens over here? So in the first iteration, the number is 4. Okay, and then in before it enters the loop, it is set to 4. Now, in the first iteration, it has become 8. In the second iteration, it becomes 12. In the third iteration, it becomes 16, and so on. And by the time it reaches the 10th iteration, it will become 44 because it was already set to 4. If it were for 0 over here, in that case, it would have been 40. But by the end of the loop, this particular loop, the number is going to be 44 because it is already set to 4, and then you are adding 4 to it 10 times. So it's equivalent to adding 40 to 4. Okay, so the moment it comes out, it will become 44. Is it clear, everyone? Okay, great. Yeah, so you will have to be very careful, again to see the variables like what they are set to before the loop starts, how they are set internally in the loop, and then what the question asks. Okay, so it says what will be the value of the variable after the loop ends. So you'll have to be like after this particular loop ends, you'll have to see what is the value of the variable number. Okay, let answer for previous question be stored in variable x. What does the cat say after the execution of the loop? Okay, now this is a little big one. Okay, so let the answer for the previous question be stored in variable x. What does the cat say after the execution of the loop? So it is just a tricky question over here. Like they're just trying to answer. Like the answer of this is dependent on what you get the answer for this particular question. So this particular part is going to repeat for that many number of times, and then you will have to solve this particular part. So it might take a little bit of time. I'll just skip this. I'll not show the accepted answer over here, but I hope you can try to solve this on your own now. So the concept is same, like you're setting x1 to 0, x2 to 1. You're repeating this, so x contains the value from the previous solution and minus 40. You're setting y to x1 square plus x2 square. X1 is set to x2 and x2 is set to y. Okay. And then at the end, you are saying x2. So what does the cat say? So what is the value of x2 over here at the end of the loop? That you will have to answer. Okay. So I'll just keep this in view of time. But yeah, definitely please try to solve it on your own. Uh, Take your time and then solve it. So answer will be over here. So I'll share this Google document with you. So you can create a copy of it. So you just have to go to the file over here and then just select on make a copy, and then you will be able to, view all the solutions over here. So I put this in the collapsing heading, all the solutions, so you can look into that. So there are week-wise questions over here. So if you just collapse this, so you'll end up being in week 2. So yeah, there are questions for all the 12 weeks. So let us see them quickly one by one. And yeah, I think by the end of this sessions, you will be covering many of the concepts that we have seen in all the 12 weeks. Okay. Which of the following is the use case of variables in programming? Very straightforward question. I think we have seen this in previous sessions as well. Okay. Okay, my bad. Okay, let me just stop the share quickly because the solutions are visible over here. I didn't want that. Okay, let me start the share again.
Sir, I have a doubt
Yes, Fasila.
regarding the exam.
Uh-huh.
i- is it only study the quiz questions only? Is it needed an assignment question also? Programming assignments?
There will be some questions like this, Fasila, like there will be some programming snippet that is given to you, a program snippet, and then they might ask you to, select options from the given, like select the correct options from the available options. So that kind of question might come. I'm not very sure if they will ask you, to write programs over there, which is highly unlikely in the case of MCQs, means like NPTEL course exams. But yeah, please do confirm with the logistics team on the discussion forum. So if you have any queries, you can go to this Q&A section in the Swayam portal and go to the discussion forum. It will
Okay.
redirect you to you can ask over here, like what will be the format of the exam, and somebody might be
Question
able to answer.
pattern. Yeah.
Okay, I hope that answers your query. Yeah. So, sorry. Okay, so this was straightforward. They help in storing and retrieving retrieval of information data while a task on the machine is run. Okay, that was a straightforward answer. What is the concept that helps in instructing the computer to execute repetitive tasks? Okay, great. So answer is straightforward. Again, loops. So the loops are loops as we saw here in repeat. It kind of does the same set of tasks again and again till the time whatever number of iterations you have mentioned over here. Okay. Can polynomial expressions be instructed to computer in a logically finite steps? Okay. Answer is again straightforward. Yes. Polynomial expressions are nothing but like expressions like 2x plus x square and so on. So that we have seen over here, like you can have this over here, any polynomial expression in the program. And yes, uh, in a finite number of steps, you can try to solve them or like try to plot them and so on. Sorry. In which of the following code blocks calculation of the square distance between 2 points is accomplished? So square distance is nothing but so this is x1 y1 and x2 y2. So x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. That is the square distance. And if it were only distance, so then in that case it would have been like under root of x1 minus x2 square plus y1 minus y2 square. Okay. Uh, doesn't matter if you do x2 minus x1 square or x1 minus x2 square. It's just the square quantity. So it will always be positive. Okay. Again, I'll leave it to you. You can look into it and look at the solution later because this is going to take time. But is if so here we are setting the variables to some values and doing some operations on these variables. Okay, so this was about the use of operators in Scratch. So you can look into this later. Okay. So change is something which changes the value of a variable by some other value that you mentioned over here. Okay. So yeah, you can look into it. Okay. I've just put the answer here. Sorry again. Yeah. This is again one more question. What task does the block below accomplish? Again, I'll leave it to you. This is x setting x to something, y to something, and then go to x equal to x and y equal to y. So it will set the position of the cat or whatever sprite object that you have over there to this given x and y values, and then you are updating the x and y values in the loop. So yeah, please look into it. The solution is over here, means the answer is over here. It will be easy for you to understand them. Okay. So now let us move on to week two topic wherein we started Python. So these are all the questions from the previous offering of the course, like the previous courses quizzes. So yeah, let us see them one by one. There is a statement. If a variable is assigned multiple times, the latest value is not stored in the variable. Okay. Yeah. So the answer is correct. False. The variable stores the value from the latest assignment. So for example, if I have some variable over here, like a, which is given assigned value 2. In Python, I can assign any value to variable. I can have float. I can also have like string, and if I print A, so it will be storing the latest value in the very whatever is assigned to it. Okay, and the type will also be the type of the latest value assigned to it. So the answer is first, the variable stores the value from the latest assignment. So which of the code blocks print hello Ram Lakshmana Hanuman? So these are like some three variables given over here, and you have to see which of these particular blocks prints this particular string over here. So yeah, please be quick. We'll go on to the next question. This is to test your, uh, concentration over here. Like you'll have to be very careful, like where the spaces are and uh, how it is being printed. Okay, many of you are getting the answers. Yeah, please try to answer it. Okay, so let us see the answer. So the correct answers are these two. One is straightforward because it is as it is. The string is given over here as it is. The other one is name one, name two, and name three. Okay, so whenever the moment you add commas over here, it will by default add, spaces over there. So if you see carefully, there is a space after each string over here. Okay, even before this exclamation mark. So this comma will take care of adding extra space, and the strings over here do not contain any space. So I hope this particular part is clear to everyone.
Sir, if plus is given, there won't be any space, no, sir. For
Yeah,
comma, there will be space.
yes. For comma, there will be space. If plus is given, it is like concatenating the strings. So let me quickly show it to you. So if I do print uh, hello plus world and comma exclamation, and if I run this, you will see that hello world is concatenated. This is concatenation operation, and comma is like adding the delimiter over here. So you can have the separator. So there was this separator option. So you can have some separator instead of spaces. You can have any separator, but by default it is space. I hope that is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what aren't the correct ways to inform Python that input is an integer? Okay, so this is relating to the concept of taking input from the user and typecasting. Okay, great. So the correct answers are in and float. You have to be very careful again while reading what are not the correct. Okay, it's not asking what are the correct. It's asking what are not the correct ways to inform Python that the input is an integer. So in is a keyword for checking the membership. So it is not a correct way to do this. It would have been correct if it were int over here and then followed by input. Float input, again, this is going to convert the number to float, which is not integer. Int input is correct. A equal to input and then doing A equal to int A, it is also correct. Okay. because when you do input and take anything from the user, it is going to be in the string format, and then you will have to convert it to integer. Okay, but you'll have to be very careful, converting the numbers. Yeah, so the correct answer over here is iron and floor. Yeah, I hope it is clear. If it is not, please let me know. I'll explain it again. I'll move on to the next question. The following program outputs 722. For what value of 8 does the code output 8? Now, this is going to take a little bit of time, but yeah, let me just wait for this question, and then for next programming kind of questions, we'll kind of skip them so that we'll be able to cover many of the questions across all the weeks. So you have been given a snippet of code, and you are asked to say for what value of A does the code output 8. So the current value of A is 7, and it outputs 722. Okay. So what's the easy way to do that? Here, you have been given four options. So you'll have to first of all try the easiest of the options, which is 1. Okay. So you try it out on 1. If it doesn't work, then you have three options left. If it does not work on 2, then you have 4 and 6. Okay. So you don't have to go on thinking what the value of A is. You have to go to the options here, insert questions, and then try plugging these values and then see the output. So that's how you should be approaching this kind of problems in exam. So the options are A, B, C, D. You have to give the correct answer. Okay. Is it clear to everyone like what exactly is happening and what the question asks? If it is not, please let me know. I'll explain it to you again. Okay, great. So the correct answer over here is 4. So if you just put A as 1, so the result is 1 first of all. I equal to I for I in range A. So A is 1 over here. So I in range 1. So it will be 0. So if I is greater than 0, not working. Okay. So then uh, A equal to 2. Result is 1 for I in range 2, which will be like I is going from 0 and 1, from 0 to 1. Then if I is greater than 0, so for 0 it will not work. For if and in second iteration it will become 1. So result is result into I, which is 1 into 1, which is again 1, and 1 plus 2 is 3, which is not an answer. Then remains 4. It will go from 0, 1, 2, 3. So for 1 it will be 1, and then for 2 it will be 2, and for 3 it will be 3 into 2, which is 6, and 6 plus 2 is 8. So that's the correct answer. Okay, so try it out on your on paper as well. So it will help you out to understand what exactly is happening. I hope it is clear to everyone, and I'll move ahead. So what does the previous question calculate? Yeah, so Deepika, the quick way to solve such questions is, as I said, first of all, you should be looking at the options and the condition over here. So I in range something. So let's say number 10. So this range will go from 0 to 9, as we saw in the previous sessions, what range does. So here the condition is that I is greater than 0. So definitely whatever options, whatever value of I is less than 0 or equal to 0, that is not going to be executed over here. And then only the values greater than 0 and in the range will be used. So the you can look at the formula over here. So result is getting result into I in every iteration. So if it is 1, so it will in the second iteration it will become 2 into 1. Then 2 into 1 is stored over here. Then in the third iteration, the number 3 is being multiplied to this, and which is stored over here. And then 4 is multiplied, and then which is stored over here, and so on. Like depending on the value of A over here. Okay. So you have to first of all figure out the simplest expression here, and then see what range, what are the values that are acceptable by I, and if the condition gets satisfied. It's not applicable only to this question, for any such questions. Like you should be careful about the condition. So the questions are designed such that it won't take you a long time to solve, and also the options are given over here. So as you solve more and more problems, you should be good enough to, good to go for such questions. Okay, so coming to the next question, what does the previous question calculate? I already answered this indirectly. Okay, so how many of you got it? So yes, it calculates the factorial of a minus 1 and adds 2 to it. Which loop is used to perform a set of repetitive tasks based on condition in Python? So there are only two types of loops in Python, which we have discussed. So the out of these four options, two are already ruled out. And you have to be very careful based on condition in Python. Which particular loops take conditions? So there are two loops in Python. One takes conditions and one takes iterator. So yeah, the correct answer is while loop, because for loop, as you have already seen over here, it runs on iterator. So there is an iterator over here, like range, and then you are going over it, over here, over it. Whereas in while loop, you will be having certain condition. If it is true, it will run for that number of times. Okay. Now, what happens when the condition inside if and while evaluate to false? Okay. So the correct answer over here is Python interpreter ignores if the if while blocks and proceeds to the program from the lines after the if while blocks. Okay. So it doesn't care, it just doesn't execute it as it did over here. So if it is not true, it will just go on to the next step. Okay. Second, next question. The following program might or might not have an infinite loop. Does the program have infinite loop? Again, it will take some time, so please carefully look into it later. Uh, so I'll just keep these questions. For which of the following values of name and age variable does the following code print? You are lucky. Again, these are some conditional statements, so you'll have to be very careful. You are taking an input from the user. You're taking an input from the user for name, for age, and then as you can see over here, the age is being converted to integer explicitly, because the input is always going to be string. Then there is a flag which is set to false. This is a string, not a boolean. Okay. So then you are having certain conditions over here, and if the conditions are true, you will print either of them. Okay. So you'll have to be very careful. So just solve it at your own convenience later. I'll share this with you. Okay. For which of the options among the previous questions, the program doesn't print anything. So again, this is dependent on the previous questions. So I'll skip it. So we'll move on to week 3 questions. So which of the following is are true statements? Yeah, please try to answer quickly in chat. Okay. So the correct answer is lists are used to store multiple values. True. Iterating over lists is possible in Python. One can access element in list by using non-numeric indices. This is not true. You need to have integer numbers to access the element. Uh, we need to have specify required size of list while creating a new list. It is also not needed. You can also have an empty list and then keep appending the values to it. So that is also possible, which is there in this question. Okay. In the below code, for what value of n does the program print 21? So there is n over here variable. You will have to add some value over here, and it asks for what value of n does the program print 21. Again, it might take a bit of time, so I'll leave it to you. But there are concepts. What are all concepts that are being covered over here? So for loop, lists, you are just creating an empty list, and then you have a nested loops over here, and then you have append, which will append certain value to the list. Okay, you are creating an empty list over here as well. So please look into this. There is this operator plus equal to, this is equivalent to k equal to k plus 1 or k equal to k plus L, whatever this is. This is L, I think. So k equal to k plus L, this plus equal to. It can be minus equal to, asterisk equal to, and so on. So whatever operator it is over here, it will be k equal to k, that operator, and then the other operand. Okay, so I'll leave this question as well. Again, this is again dependent on the previous question. So let us skip this. Then what does the following code perform? Quickly. This is easy. Okay, I think I have not added options over here, but you can definitely guess what the answer is. So it converts any input list into a new list such that the even indices are multiplied by 2 and odd indices, uh, you are adding 3 to them. Okay, so container is a list, and then you are iterating over the length of the container. If the index is even, then you are appending this container I into 2 to this result. So result is an empty list. Else, if it is odd, so for odd indices, you are just adding the container uh, value to 3 and then appending it to result. So it is that simple. I'll just I just forgot to add the options over here, but yeah, this is easy. From the previous question, if the option it converts any input list into a new list which is filled with some alternative even and odd numbers is incorrect, can you make changes to code such that this option is true? Okay, there were some options over here. I'll do one thing. I'll just edit this and add the options over here so that you can look into this particular question later. But what they are asking over here is that this particular code does certain operation, and there was a correct answer to it. But there was another option actually to make that option correct. What changes will you have to make to the code such that it works, and then this will be the correct option in that case. So I'll just add the options over here, but for now I'll just skip this particular part. Okay, next question. If file.txt exists, does the code successfully run? Okay. So answer is no, because you're opening the file in write mode. So in that case, you won't be able to read what exactly the content of the files are. So in that case, the answer is no. You will have to be very careful over here. If it were open in append mode, then this is okay. Even in read mode, this is okay. But it is open in write mode W. So this option is the code will be throwing an error that the file content is not readable or something. I hope this is clear to everyone. Okay, great. Which of the following are, so we have covered the concept of file handling over here as well. So file handling with read, write, and append options. In the previous question, we saw this append in list. We saw some operator over here. So in with every question, we are trying to cover some of the concepts that we have seen in Python. Then here we saw about the indexing in Python, like indexing of list in Python, list elements. And then this was about the print statements and the conditional statements over here within like and then we had a nested loop, we have this while loop and all. So if you try to solve all these questions on your own, you should be definitely getting all these concepts later as well. So let us go on to the next question. So answer over is no. Which of the following are examples of social computing? Yeah, this is like a very open-ended question. Like, so all of them, because Stack Overflow, as we discussed in the previous sessions, many of the previous sessions, Stack Overflow is a community in which you can go and ask your queries relating to the concepts, whatever programming concepts you might be facing difficulties with. So there is Stack Exchange and Stack Overflow. So yes, definitely you can go on to this communities or platforms and get your queries resolved. Let me quickly show it to you. So yeah, you can see some questions over here which are already resolved. So if you have any queries, you can just simply see if it is already asked by someone else. If it is not, you can add the question over here. So you just have to create an account and add a question over here, ask question option. So somebody else might try to answer to it. Okay, so here you can see that this question is answered by so many people. And then the sorry, uh, some of the answers will be accepted by the person who asked the question. Okay, and you can upvote or downvote a particular answer if you like that particular answer. Okay, so this was all about Stack Overflow. So yes, Stack Overflow is an again social computing, like social platform wherein you can get your queries cleared. And definitely Wikipedia and Quora are. What does the following code print for n equal to 3? Again, some programming part. I'll just skip this. Then one concept that is being used over here is this sort. Sorry. So you have a empty list, you're appending something to it, then you are sorting the list, and then you are doing certain operations like okay. So uh, you have to be very careful again over here. But the concept that is being discussed over here that we have not discussed so far is sort. A dot sort will sort the list. Again, from the previous question, is the variable n or a dot sort responsible for printing either of the two possible sentences? Again, I'll just leave it for the time being. What does the code in question 8 calculate? Again, it is dependent. So let us skip this part. Now let us move on to week 4. We are going a little slow. We'll have to speed up. So yeah, please, apologies, like I'm skipping some questions, but definitely I'll be sharing this document with you. And if you have any questions, you can put it on the forum. Like someone definitely will try to answer it. And if you have any queries, please feel free to ask now, like in any of the concepts. So towards the end of the session, I'll stay for some time and we'll try to resolve all your queries you may have. Okay. So which of the following options provides the general formula for magic constant of a magic square of size n, where all the elements are distinct numbers from 1 to n square? So magic square is of size n, which is n cross n magic square. So, okay, answer I have already given over here. Sorry again. So yeah, this was an image. So I just put it over here so it didn't collapse. But yeah, I'll just keep it so that both of these are correct answers.
Sir, I had a doubt before
Uh-huh.
in social computing concept.
Uh-huh.
I actually got this. I think this was there in the assignment, no? So I got this wrong then as well.
Uh-huh.
So I was thinking there is no so in Stack Overflow and Quora there is a direct interaction between people, no? They ask
Yeah.
questions and they answer. So I
Yes.
thought Wikipedia doesn't have that because someone will edit it later, right? There is
Yes.
no. So I thought it might not be social computing. So I didn't
And
understand how is
social in
Wikipedia.
the sense like it is accessible to everyone and then everyone can contribute to it. So you can add information relating to any concept on Wikipedia. So it's open to everyone. That's why it's called social computing. Not like you are interacting every time, but it's like you are interacting with others by sharing your information over there.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'll again skip this part. What would be the magic constant for a magic square? Again, I'll just skip this magic square related part. Please do look into it. There are some questions from the previous offering of the course, so I just don't want to spend a lot of time on this. Okay, again, there is the probability-based question. So, yeah, please apologies. I'm skipping all these questions because I need to move on to the next week. Okay, what task does function one perform over here? Again, there were certain options over there. I think I would have truncated them, but I'll add them over here later. But you can glance over it and let me know like if you are finding anything difficult to understand. So the concepts here again are lists, function, like these are user-defined functions. You have different number of parameters over here in both the functions. You have some empty lists. So these are all the local variables that you are creating within the function. Then you have a loop over here. You are doing append operation. Then you are calling another function. This function one is being called over here in the, you know, loop over here. So this is whatever value of this function one is, like whatever value is written by this function one, it will iterate over. This particular loop is going to iterate over that. Okay. So yeah, again, I'll leave it for as an exercise for you to solve. But these are the concepts that are being used over here. Again, there is another concept over here, like the Boolean variable. So capital FALSE and capital TRUE. So if it is assigned to a variable, that variable because of type Boolean. Okay. So again, you you can look into it later. Okay. Question 9. If all possible pairs of prime numbers between 0 and 20 are given to n1 and n2, for how many pairs would function to print completed? Okay, again, this is dependent on this particular question. So yeah, all these four questions are dependent on this, but the concepts over here are as we discussed. So we have user-defined function, you have list, you have iterator, you have append operation over here, and you have some Boolean variables, and then this function call, which returns a list, and you are iterating over that, and there are nested loops over here, and there is a condition checker here. Okay. So these are all the concepts that are being used in this particular question. Okay, moving on to week 5. Which of the following is the correct way to add data with key CS101 as a web programming to a dictionary named course data? Masan, was there any query?
Previous test 4, sir, that question 5, 4 and 5 and 6.
I
Just
see.
one
Oh,
back week.
you want to see that?
Yes, sir.
Question 4, 5, and 6. Okay, I'll skip it for the time being, but
5 and 6. No, sir. 1 minute, sir. 5 and 6. Just read once.
oh, you want to read this question? Okay. So, what is the minimum number of people required to ensure that at least two of them share the same 30-minute birth interval? The interval starts from 12 a.m. and each interval lasts for half an hour. So, this is some question, general mathematical question. It's not Python programming question as such, but something relating to the kind of questions that you got in week 0. So again, you can take your time and then solve this question. And then the other question is relating to the magic square. So
No,
here,
sir.
yeah. So the kind of question over here is like you'll have to enter the integer value that whatever you are getting over here, integer value or the floating value. You'll have to enter it here, over here in the box, input box.
Question 5, I wrote 50. They say answered 97. And same in question 6, they say some distance of.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not very sure of it, but I can show you the answer. So answer is 49 over here in this case, and it's
I wrote
105.
50. Why it is wrong? What is the difference between 50 and 49?
Sir, for question number 5, PG and whole principle, if we are following, it will be 97 only.
I see.
Uh,
Okay, I have not solved it personally myself, but definitely I'll also have to look into it. But uh, uh, yeah, I'll update the answer if it is wrong. So please give me some time.
in,
Yeah. So for the time being, let us not discuss this right now because I myself need to solve it and then see how exactly it will. The correct answer is. Okay. Okay. So yeah, let's go on to the next question over here. Uh, which of the following is the correct way to add data key CS101 and value as web programming to a dictionary named course data? Okay, so answer is again straightforward. So answer is course data. Your course data is the variable name. You are adding the key over here as CS101. It needs to be string. Then you are assigning this web programming to it. Okay, so this is the correct way of doing it. All other options are incorrect. Okay, and if you see over here, these two are actually correct in the latest versions of the Python. But you can avoid this semicolon. Semicolon is generally used in C programming languages, but I think some of the interpreters do consider semicolons as well in Python programming language. So don't be confused, but this is the standard way of writing code. Okay, so that's the correct option. Again, this is on Monty Hall problem. So what is the probability of Monty opening the door with goat, given the hypothesis that you initially choose the door which has car? Again, take your time. We discussed Monty Hall problem in one of the sessions. So I would like you to go back and see what exactly it is, how the probability gets transferred the moment you get to know like one of the doors or like other doors they contain goat, and then you're left with only goat and two doors. One contains goat and one contains car. Okay. So yeah, please let us go ahead quickly. What should be replaced with question mark in line 10 so that there is high chance that final choice is equal to 2? So what are the concepts that are being used over here? So we are using the random library. Random dot random.randint will create random integers in the given range. Then you're having a list over here. Then you're having a condition check. This exclamation equal to is not equal to. Okay. And equal to means condition checking. Like if the number is equal to if a number is equal to certain number. Okay. So you will have to put a condition over here such that the final choice is equal to 2. Then again, I'll leave it to you for solving. Given that you have a sorted list of 1024 elements, what is the maximum number of comparisons required to find the target element using binary search? Also, what is the number of comparisons to search such an element using linear search? So the question is, you have been given 1024 elements. What is the maximum number of comparisons required to find the target element using binary search? And what is the number of comparison to search such an element using linear search in the worst time? So as we have seen in the earlier session, binary search, how does it work? It divides the search space into half, and based on that, it decides whether the particular element is, if it is on the right side or the left side. And then you move on to that particular part and again divide it into half, and so on. And you keep repeating this till the time you reach to a conclusion if the element is present in the particular part or not. Okay. So given that you have 1024 elements, so it's a multiple of 2, that for the ease of computation, they have given a multiple of 2. So what will be the maximum, number of comparisons required? So how to approach such problems? So in the linear search, like the worst case that can happen is that you find the element at the last. Okay. And the correct option, sorry, the correct option for that is 1024. So only these are the two options that are correct. Okay. So these two options are ruled out. Now you have to be very careful about 10 and 11 being the value for the binary search. So 1024. So in general, the so there is a concept of time complexity in computer science. So the time complexity of binary search algorithm is log n. And the time complexity of linear search is worst case time complexity is order of n. So that's why it's so n over here is 1024, and log of 24 to the base 2 is 10. So that's why the answer over here is 10. So if certain questions like you get certain questions like this relating to binary search, the simplest way to do that is take a log of this to the base 2. And that's the answer. That's the maximum number of comparisons that you can have in binary search. What type of data is contained in a file with a dot wave or dot WAVE extension? Again, a very straightforward answer. So the answer is audio data. Video data is MP4 or MPEG and what all other extensions that you can have. Um, Audio data is always dot wave, MP3, and so on. Image data is JPEG, PNG, and so on. What does this program print at the end of at the end? So you have a random library over here. You have a counter. You're going in range you're iterating over range n. You have certain choices over here. You're getting a choice, random choice from this list in choice one and choice two, and then you checking if the two numbers are same or not. And if they are same, you are incrementing the count. Okay. Yeah, please try to answer. Where exactly? No, 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 that's not new line, Deepika. It's divided by n. It's a division operation. New line will be applicable only when it is like written like in strings. Yeah, 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 in quotes. So there should be code for new line, and it is treated as a string. Here it is divided by n. So that operator, that's an operator, division operator. Okay. So yeah, please try to answer this quickly. It's a straightforward answer. Okay. So yeah. So correct answer where is fraction of throws where both players showed same symbol, rock, paper, scissors. So it's taking, so you're randomly taking the choices from this. Like both, there are two players, choice one, choice two is like for player one, player two. They are getting some random choices, and you are seeing how many times out of this n matches that they are playing, they are getting same, choice. And if the choice is same, the counter is increasing. The counter is set to zero first of all. Out of all these 10 matches, in how many matches they got the same choice. So that's what the fraction over here is like. Okay, so fraction of throws where both the players showed same symbol. In binary search, what happens if the target value is greater than the middle element of the array? Okay, that is straightforward. The search continues in the right half of the array. Which of the following is the requirement for a binary search to work correctly? Yeah, that is also straightforward. The list must be sorted. Given an array 53842, what will be the array after the third pass of bubble sort? So you have to be very careful. Here they are asking the third pass of the bubble sort, not the end of the bubble sort. Okay. So the correct answer over here is 32458. So in the first pass, you are just swapping 53, then 58, and then 54, and then 52. Then in the next swap, you will be swapping, and then you will have to be you'll be getting this 32458 as the correct answer. So, no, not the correct answer, but the state of the array in the third pass. Okay. So yeah, you'll have to be very careful. One way also to look at it is like once the three passes are done, the last three elements will be in their correct position. So in every pass, the every last element gets fixed or comes into correct position as a bubble, as we saw in the one of the previous sessions. So the three passes are done. So the last three will be correct in the correct position. Okay. How many swaps are performed in iteration 3 for bubble sorting list 4321? Enter 0 if the list is sorted in less than 3 iterations. Okay, again, this is a numerical type question. So I'll leave it to you. You can try solving it later. So let us move on to week 6. If n is a positive integer, what is the output of the function given in given input n? So it's a user-defined function. There's a condition if n is less than 0, you're returning 0, else you're returning 1 plus mystery of n minus 1. So what is happening over here? So this is an example of recursion. So you're calling that function again internally within the same function. Okay. So the correct answer is n over here. If n is a positive integer, what is the output of the function given function? So you can see that the value of n over here is, let's say, 4. So it is greater than 0. So this will be returning 1 plus mystery of 3. Then one in mystery of 3, you will get 1 plus mystery of 2, and then so on. And in mystery of 2, you'll get 1 plus mystery of 1, and then 1 plus mystery of 0, and so on. So it's like adding 1, 1, 1, 1 n times. So that's the correct answer. And which of the following are true about recursion? Again, this is multiple option correct. Yeah, please be quick. We are still in week 6. We have to go fast. Yeah, so the correct answer is recursion is a process in which function call itself as a subroutine, as we have seen over here. Recursion requires more resources compared to iteration. Yes, true, because it kind of builds upon the program stack. We saw it in the previous session, like why recursion, consumes more memory than iteration. So please go back and check over there. Recursion is better alternative for performing repetitive tasks compared to iteration. This is not always true. We have seen this as well. In certain cases, it makes the code cleaner, but you know, uh, overhead wise, it is worse. So, what is the output of the following code? So you have function X, and there you have another function. So this is actually a function overloading is happening over here. So you have two definitions of function. And if you call function as func_y, okay. So the correct answer over here is 8 because it will take the latest definition of the function into consideration as we saw for in the case of variable as well. So the moment you redefine it, the previous definition gets overwritten and then hence the latest one is being called. The letter E is the most frequent occurring letter in English language. Suppose we apply a substitution cipher where E is mapped to A and all other letters are uniquely mapped to different letters. If we encrypt a very long English storybook using this cipher, will the frequency of A be the highest in the encrypted text? Think over it. Okay, you can think over it. I won't show you the answer for now. Uh, you can check the answer later. Could we check frequency of letters in a long ciphertext and map them to the frequency of letters in English to decrypt the message? Yeah, so this is a straightforward answer. Yes, it is possible. We have seen it in the session on ciphertext that you can do this analysis of frequency analysis of finding the most frequent character in the in encrypted text, and then using that information, you can map it back to the actual English language using the information that you have for English, like which ones are the most frequent one and so on. What are the drawbacks of using frequency analysis to decrypt a message that has been encrypted using substitution cipher? Yeah, so answer is again straightforward. It will not work if the ciphertext is too small, because as we saw in the previous session, like if the number of characters, if it is not too high, you won't get a very good distribution that will help you identify which one is the most frequent and which one is the least frequent. Okay, so in that case, it is not feasible to do the frequency analysis. And also, it will not work if the encrypted text was previously encrypted using different cipher, which could have, removed the patterns in common English. So that is also possible. So if you are doing certain operations on the text, which removes some patterns in the English, like if a text is, more, if a character is more frequent and you're doing certain operations on it such that, like the frequency distribution changes. So in that case as well, the particular substitution cipher, like frequency analysis on the substitution cipher is not going to work. So yeah, these two are the correct answers. If variable dictionary name is a non-empty dictionary, what does dictionary name dot keys return? Let me zoom it in. This is again the concept of dictionary is being discussed over here in this week. Okay, so the answer is returns the list of all the keys in the dictionary. If it were items, it will return a list of tuples which contains key value pair. If it is only values, it will return a list of values. Is a Caesar cipher a type of substitution cipher? Yeah, so answer is yes. It's a special type of substitution cipher in which you are moving by certain k steps. What is the consequence of not having a base case in recursive function? Yeah, so the correct answer is A. The function will run infinitely because if you don't have a base case, it won't stop at any point. So the purpose of base case is to stop the recursive function at certain point. What are the number of possible final lines when someone wins in a game of tic-tac-toe? Assuming it is a 3 cross 3. Yeah. So the answer is 8. You can have a vertical, three horizontal, and two diagonals. Okay. So that are the possible final lines when someone meets. Okay, coming to week 7, we are still running late. Which of the following methods is used to read the content of a CSV file in Python using a CSV module? Okay, these are certain things that you need to remember um, because some of these concepts were like used in the programming part of the course. So yeah, so the answer is CSV.reader. It will read the content of the CSV file and then create an object which you can, use to uh, get the access the elements in the CSV file. Which command is used to install a Python package using pip? Yeah, very straightforward. Pip install and the package name. However, in certain cases, the package name may not be straightforward. Okay, so for example, in um, the package name might be different than the way you import them in the Python environment. So you'll have to be very careful. But yeah, this is the general way of installing a package. Pip install package name. What is the primary purpose of the gmplot library in Python? I think we have not seen it in detail, but yeah, it name suggests. Okay, I'll just quickly show you the answer. To plot data on uh, Google Maps. In a game of snake and ladders, a player is currently on square 96. There is a snake on square 99 that sends the player back to square 78. If the player wishes to reach square 100 in one dice throw, what number must they roll on? Again, some mathematical question. I'll skip this particular part. But yeah, there is an answer over here. But please do let me know. You can point it out if there is any mistake in these answers. These answers were actually the accepted answers that were there in the previous offering of the course. So I have not verified every single answer over here. But uh, if you find any mistake, please do let me know. Please point that out. In the same scenario, again, this is based on the previous question. Okay, so this is based on the concept of turtle programming that we have seen. So which of the following commands will draw a square using Python's turtle module? Turtle is imported in the way we have imported turtle as t, and then there is a turtle object, and then you are doing certain operations. So which of the following will draw a square using turtle? Yeah, please be quick, uh, because we need to move on to the next question. Okay, let us quickly discuss. Turtle forward 100, it will move the turtle 100 by 100 step. Turtle left, it's like you're doing the anti-clockwise movement by 90 degrees. And then this is happening 4 times. So this is going to make a square. Turtle forward 100 and turtle right 90 is also going to do the same job. Okay, let us see the answer. So all of these are going to do the same job. Here you are moving backward and then turning 90 degrees uh, anti-clockwise. Okay, and then moving backward, turning 90 degrees anti-clockwise, and so on. So you're in all of these steps, you are moving in a circular fashion, and then creating a square out of it. So all these four options are correct. Does the turtle module in Python allow you to draw complex shapes on the screen? Answer is yes, true. I'll just give these kind of simple questions. What is the purpose of the turtle paint up and paint down commands in Python turtle module? Quickly, yeah. To stop the turtle from drawing and then resume drawing at a new position. Yes. So paint up is like just you're moving the paint up, not drawing something, and then paint down is like you're just trying to draw it again. What is the default drawing state of the turtle when a new turtle object is created in Python's turtle module? Okay. So the by default the turtle pane is down, and so it draws while moving. So if you want to move the turtle up, like you'll have to use this pane up operation, else it will keep on drawing. Which of the following commands is used to open an image file using Python's pillow library? Okay, so the answer is B, image.open. Okay, we are in week 8 now. So this was relating to tuples and all. Which of the following is a valid way to create a tuple in Python? Okay, again, straightforward answer. But yeah, this is tricky. This is something which we did not discuss earlier. This is also a tuple actually in Python. So let me go on to collab. So if you see this, and if you print this, this is also going to create a tuple. So yeah, so we discussed turtle, sorry, not turtle, uh, expanding tuple. Like you can do like this and print A, B, C. Okay, so this will expand this tuple and assign every value to the corresponding variable over here. Similarly, this is doing the other way around. You have multiple values over here and you are just trying to put it in one particular variable. This is going to create a tuple out of it. Okay, is this clear, everyone? We did not discuss this earlier, so good that this question come up. Is it clear, everyone? Okay, great. So, which of the following operations is valid in all is valid on tuple? So we have seen the properties of list, tuple, dictionary, set, and so on. Okay. So the correct answer over here, you cannot, uh, you know, change the values of tuple. Like you cannot modify any particular value in tuple. So what is this going to do? This is actually going to concatenate two tuples and then store it back in this tuple. So this is possible. Okay. So this operation is concatenation of two tuples and then storing it back in tuple t. I mean, it's like variable t. However, you can tuples are immutable. That's we have seen. So you cannot append something to tuple. You cannot change a particular value in a tuple. You cannot delete a particular value in a tuple. So that's why this is the correct option. Is this clear, everyone? Yes, no? Okay. Yeah. So again, you have to be very careful. So this is the tuple actually, which is created here, and this is another tuple which are just you're just combining them and then storing it back in T. So what will be the following code output? Answer is tuple. So you're just kind of creating a tuple over here. So just skipping it. What is the primary purpose of the matplotlib.pyplot module in Python? So this is the matplotlib concept. Yeah. So answer C, to generate and customize visualization like plots and graphs. Which of the following statements is true about anagrams? So you have to be very careful. There are two concepts involved, like one is palindrome and one is anagram. So both are different. People do get confused, like anagrams are palindromes and so on. Yeah, so the correct answer over here is two strings are anagram if they contain the same characters in different orders. Okay, so TAT and TTA. So these are two anagrams because they contain the same characters but in different orders. Every character, whether an alphabet, digit, or special character, has an ASCII value. Which of the following methods is used to find the ASCII value? Okay, many of you might not be aware of this, but we'll quickly discuss it in collab. But for now, just try to answer. Okay, so that's okay. Let me go to collab. So as we have seen in the okay, let me show you the ASCII table. So if you see this ASCII table over here, every character, numerical, alphabetical, and the special characters over here have some ASCII value associated with them. And ASCII values range from 0 to 127. So we have like now Unicode and other things which also include other characters like characters from other languages and all. But ASCII characters are like already defined. And then in this, there are some numbers associated with it. So when you type this integer, sorry, when you get the each character in the string, it is actually being mapped to the corresponding ASCII, and then the ASCII is being read in the binary form in the internally in the machine. Okay, so every character in a string is actually mapped to a number, and the number is being read. So machine understands only numbers. It doesn't understand, text directly. So to get the corresponding uh, ASCII value, for example, ASCII value of capital A is 65. So for that, you can simply do, oops, you cannot do it over here. Just a second. It's ORD, not INT. Yeah, my bad. So ORD is something which takes the uh, ASCII value of every character. So for example, capital A was having ASCII value 65. Small a is having ASCII value of 97. So let us go over here. Okay. Why int did not work? Because it expects this particular string to be in integer format. So for example, if I give 1 over here, it will return properly. However, this was a non-integer string. That's why the error was there that there is a value error. Okay, so in that case, you have to use this function called odd, which will give you will return the ASCII value of the particular character. Okay, so the answer over here is odd A. Yes, ASCII is a subset of Unicode. So which of the following libraries is commonly used to determine the intensity of emotions in sentiment analysis? Again, very straightforward. We saw this in the NLTK tutorial. So WADER is one of the library which is used to determine the intensity of emotions, whether it is positive, negative, or neutral. Which of the following Python code snippets correctly checks if the two strings are anagrams? So these are some user-defined functions, and then you are just trying to see if like you want to see which of the following codes checks if the two strings are anagrams. So the correct answer here is R anagram, string one, string two, and sorted. So here you can compare two strings. You cannot compare set like this. Compare string sorted str1 is going to sort the string lexicographically, both the strings, and since they have same number of characters, same characters, so both of the strings sorted in sorted form are going to be the same, and hence this is going to be true. Okay, so that's the simplest way of checking if the two strings are anagram or not. Why is gambling generally a bad decision? Okay, that's a moral question as well as a programming question, computational question. So we are bothered about the computational part of it. Okay, again, it's a probability question actually, because you lose more money than you win over the time because the dice, or like not the dice, the board, the gambling board that is being designed is designed in the favor of casino, and no matter how many times you um feel like you are winning, you are at the end the probability is more biased towards the casino being winning. So yeah, it is always going to be on the side of casino. So true or false, a significant amount of information can be extracted from an image by applying the appropriate image enhancement techniques. Again, this is a very straightforward answer. Answer is true. You can do certain operations on image. You can do blurring. You can do image enhancement, like de-blurring of the image, and so on using Pillow library, and then extract certain relevant information out of it. Then week 9, it was on NLTK, sentiment analysis and stylometry analysis. Um NLTK.download function downloads necessary packages for natural language toolkit library. Yes, please be quick. We just have last 20 minutes. Yeah, so answer is true. Which of the following best defines a complete graph? Okay. So the correct answer is a graph where every pair of distinct vertices is connected by a unique edge. So complete graph is a fully connected graph in which every pair of nodes is connected with an edge. How many edges are there in a complete graph with four nodes? Yes, that is also a complete graph, Deepika. But in general, what is the definition of a complete graph? That's what was asked in the question. Even a single vertex is a complete graph. How many edges are there in the complete? Okay, so many of you got it. So answer is six. Which Python library is most commonly used for working with graphs related to networks? Okay, yes. So the correct answer is NetworkX, which we have seen a lot. Okay, I think we have not seen this library, but this is a software for visualizing and analyzing large networks. Uh, we did not see it in detail. Uh, but yeah, this was one of the questions that was asked in the previous offering of the course. So how many attributes typically define a color in digital representations? Yeah, so most of you must be getting it. So it's three, which is RGB. So what is the degree of node in a graph? Again, a straightforward answer, the number of edges connected to a node. Okay, shortest path is not the degree of node. So the number of edges connected to the node is known as the degree of node in a graph. What is the primary goal of silometry? Yeah, again, straightforward to analyze the style and structure of literary works of for authorship attribution. Given the following Python code, what is printed in the end? You have a list. You have to be very careful. It is we are iterating over each item in X and adding len of item to K. Okay, that is true. Yeah. So item is just one particular item in that. So the answer is, let us see this in collab. Apple, and let me take only banana, and k equal to 0 for item in X, k, oops, k plus equals to len of item and print k. So when you do len of item, it is actually finding the length of the string in this. Okay, so item in X is iterating over every single item, and the len of item is going to get the string length. And in this case, it is finding the string length of this plus string length of this plus string length of this and then string length of this, which is totally 21. Is it clear, everyone? Yeah. So you have to be very careful again, like on what item this len function is being applied. If it were like len of x, then in that case, it would have given only 4 all the time. Okay. So yeah, please be careful while reading the code. How can you estimate the area of a subregion within a larger region by randomly throwing points in the larger region? Again, this was a concept discussed in one of the sessions, like estimating the area of a region by throwing points on the map. Okay, so the correct answer over here is by calculating the proportion of points that land in the subregion compared to the total number of points in the larger region. As we have seen in the example, like we were trying to find out the map area of some region, let's say Punjab, and then you just randomly throw points, lot of points on the map, and you count the number of points in Punjab, and you count the total number of points in India, and you know the area of India. So the ratio of the number of points in Punjab to the total number of points in India is equal to the area of the Punjab region divided by area of India. So you're just using some ratio proportion over there and trying to find out the area of the subregion. Now week 10, okay, we just have 10 minutes left. What will be the output of the following Python code? And I'll come to the query I think one of you had in the previous session, like how the negative indexing works and, like how we can reverse a string or a list using splicing. So the answer over here is world. So hello world is a string, and then this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 7 onwards till 11. This is going to give you the word, this particular word. Okay. So this was about about the query that someone had. I have it over here. It can be list or string or anything else. Okay. So how does the splicing work in general? So when you write uh, my list, sorry, of let's say 1, 2, 3. Let me comment this out. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is starting point, end point, end point, but this is exclusive. So 1 to end point minus 1, whatever value is there, it will go till that point. However, if you have let me take 1 to 5. So it is taking 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So if you want to add a step over here, so by default it is 1. Let me add a step of 2. So it is taking 2 and then skipping another one and then going to 4 directly and then skipping the other one. Okay. So it is starting point, end point, and 2. If you do not mention the starting point over here, it will take 0 by default as the starting point. So it is taking 1, 3, 5. Okay. If you don't mention the end point over here and mention just the starting point, let's say 2, it will take that as the starting point. Here 2, index 2 is taken as the starting point, and then it will hop on by 2 steps till the end. If you do not mention anything as the starting point and end point, it will take 0 as the starting point and end of the list as the end point. So 1, 3, and 5 are given over here. However, you should be noticing over here that the step size is positive. If I mention step size is negative, then by default, this initial index is set to the last point of the list or string or whatever object you have. And the second element is set to the first point. Okay. So if you do like this, it is going to print 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in a backward direction. So it says that move backward by 1 step. And if you do not mention, the moment this step size is negative, the first point is considered as the last index, and the second point over here is considered as the first index. Okay. However, if it is positive, it is the other way around. The interpretation of this first and the last is like it is starting from 0 and going to end. And if it is negative, it is starting from the end and going to the 0. Okay. So the notion of this starting and end over here, if you do not explicitly mention them, changes as you mention this negative over there. So that's why if you print this nothing comma nothing colon negative one, it just prints the list in negative reverse direction. So is it clear, everyone? What's happening over here?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
sir.
Yeah. So over here, it's going to print 712. So which string method would you use to remove all leading and trailing white spaces from a string in Python?
Strip.
Yes. Yeah, please try to answer in chat. Yeah, so the correct answer is yes, strip. Given the string S, Python programming, what does colon colon 2 return? We just saw this. The step size is positive. Yeah. So the correct answer is the last one because it takes the starting one as the start point, end of the string as the end point, and then moving by 2 steps. Okay. So why are the names often converted to lowercase and spaces removed when implementing the Flames game in Python? Again, a very straightforward uh, question. To ensure consistent character comparison because you cannot compare capital A with small a. So capital A, as we have seen over here, capital A and small a have different ASCII values. So capital A has ASCII value of 65, whereas small a has ASCII value of 97. So these are mapped differently internally. So to compare the characters, you'll have to either convert them to uppercase or lowercase, whatever case you want to compare them, but it should be the same to ensure consistent character comparison. Given the name Alice and Bob, what is the flames result of their relationship according to it? So this is like again, you'll have to just solve this. So I'll skip this particular part. Uh, given, so we have seen that flames is similar to a problem called Josephus problem. So we discussed it in great detail in one of the session. So please look into that. Given A equal to np dot array, what does print A 1 to 4 output? Okay, again, the correct answer is over here 2, 3, 4. In the numpy array equal to np dot array. So there is array of array. It's a 2D matrix. What is the value of array 1, comma 2? We have seen this in previous session. Like you can do the array indexing in NumPy array as ARR 1, comma 2 or ARR 1 and then 2, another bracket 2. Both are feasible. I mean, both are correct, but the this first one is actually faster compared to the other one. So the correct answer here is like the first list and the second element in that. Sorry, the index at say number 2. So it is 6. So it is 0, 1. You are going to this and then 0, 1, 2. This is the one. What is the output of the following Python code? Okay, many of you got it. So it's BD. It's starting at 1. 1 is B and ending at 5. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it will go till 4 only. And then it's hopping at by 2. So it will just go to B and D. Do not go to F. Okay, because 5 is like the end point and then it is like going to end point minus 1. So it is 4 over here. Can NumPy be used when working with images in Python? Yeah, that is true. Internally, it is stored as a NumPy arrays. So yes, when comparing lossy and lossless compression methods, which of the following statements is true? Okay, so the correct answer is lossless compression reduces file size without any loss of quality. That is true. Which Python,
Excuse me, sir.
sorry?
Excuse me, sir. And the ninth problem,
Uh-huh.
ninth one. Images. So images are actually read as a file, right? In
Yes,
Python.
yes,
So NumPy cannot be used, right? In that
yes.
case.
Actually, the image is nothing but a matrix, a 2D matrix or a n-dimensional matrix, and wherein each element in the matrix is actually the pixel value or the RGB content of the image. So yes, it can be read as an NumPy array. Internally, it is stored as NumPy array. You read that image as an image object, and you can perform certain operations on it. But yes, it can be stored as a NumPy array, and you can visualize it. Visualize the NumPy array as an image.
Okay, sir. Actually, I tried doing this because in MATLAB you can actually look at the brightness, the values, right? Zero, one,
Hmm.
two, depending on that. So
Hmm.
I was trying to do that in this actually in NumPy. Like I tried to take a image and then convert it into matrix, but it wasn't working that way. So that's why I thought this is no.
No, no, no. It can be done actually. Like, so there are ways
Okay,
in which you can convert the image object to like the corresponding, NumPy array. So
I see.
that is also possible. Yeah,
All right,
you
thank
can
you.
get the pixel values. Okay. So coming to uh, week 11, which Python library is commonly used for automating web browsers for tasks like testing or web scraping? Okay, so many of you got it already. It's Selenium. In Selenium, what is the purpose of WebDriver? For example, WebDriver.chrome. Again, yes, straightforward answer. To control a browser programmatically, which method is used in Selenium to open a specific URL to in the web browser? We saw it in the last second session. Yeah, so the correct answer is driver.get, and you have to pass on the URL in that. In Selenium, how can you simulate pressing the enter key in a text input field? There were multiple ways like there are two different ways in which we saw it is possible. Um, we can answer in the one of the ways that uh, can be used to enter, like for example, clicking on the search box. Okay, I'll just show the answer. So answer is key dot return. Option C over here. So actually the underscores are not visible here. So but it's saying underscore keys and it's input field and input underscore field. So yeah, just don't be confused with this. So there is an underscore over here. How can you get the local current local date and time in Python using datetime module? Okay, correct answer is datetime.datetime.now. We generally do from datetime import datetime and then just we can just do datetime.now. But if you're just importing datetime, so you'll have to write datetime.datetime.now. Which function from the calendar module can be used to create a formatted string representing a month's calendar? Yeah. So the answer is calendar.month. Which function would you use to replace characters in a string in Python? Okay, please try to answer quickly. We'll move ahead. Yeah. So string dot replace old with new, but you'll have to be very careful. Like you cannot modify a string. Strings are also immutable. You're just in memory, you are just replacing those and creating a copy of it. You can assign it to another variable, but you cannot change the string itself. Okay. Which of the following statements correctly imports the datetime module in Python? We saw it already. So yes, all of these are correct. You can import datetime. From datetime, you can import datetime. If you are just importing datetime, you'll have to call datetime dot datetime. If you are just doing this from datetime import datetimes, you can just do datetime dot something. Import datetime as dt. It's like you're just giving an alias to it, and dt dot datetime dot some now or something. You can do it that way. So all of these options are correct. What does the following Python code output? So yeah, it's true because this is a leap year. Using the datetime module, how can you print the current date 7 times, each time increasing the day by 1 from the current date? Please try to answer quickly. We'll move on to week 12. So that's the last part. Okay, I'll just show you the answer. So answer is print date time today, and then you are adding time delta. So you are adding first 0, which is the current date, then 1, which is the next day, 2, 3, 4, and so on till 6. Okay, so that will give you all the dates. Uh, okay, so what is the key operation performed when the number n in the Collat's conjecture is even? Again, straightforward. Just discussed it in the last session. Divide by 2. What happens to an odd number in a number n in the Collat's conjecture sequence? Again, it's straightforward. I'll just show you the answer. It's 3n plus 1. So what is the ultimate goal of the Collat's conjecture sequence? We also discussed this. So it's reaching 1. So it kind of like reaches this loop of 4, 4 to 1, 4 to 1, 4 to 1. Which of the following best describes the Collat's conjecture? Okay, so many of you might not be aware of it, but yeah, it remains an unsolved problem in mathematics. There have been multiple attempts to solve the Collat's conjecture problem to see if it holds true for all possible numbers that it reaches 1. The mathematicians have tried, uh, exploring this problem for a long time, and then it's still an unsolved problem. They have tried checking on large number of numbers, but always it converges to 1. But in general, it has not been proven if it always converges to 1, but it is true. So yeah, it remains an unsolved problem in mathematics. That is the correct answer. What is the main idea behind the PageRank algorithm used by Google? Yeah, the correct answer is ranks pages based on the random walk on the graph of web links. In PageRank, what happens when a page has a higher number of inbound links from other important pages? Yeah, so its rank definitely increases if it is being pointed by other important pages. Which technique is used in the PageRank algorithm to determine the rank of a web? Yeah, we have seen this in the previous question itself. So it's a random walk simulation that is happening. So we saw like a robot is there, and then the robot just simply walks randomly on the graph based on the connections and the probability of each connection, like the weight of the connections, and it jumps to another disconnected part component of the graph with the damping factor. So that was a random walk simulation that was being done, and then the number of times it visits total number of time it visits each of the node, that kind of gives you the rank of the page. PageRank relies heavily on the structure of. Okay, so answer is hyperlink network between web pages. PageRank was developed primarily to solve which problem? Yeah, again, these are the same question as being in different ways. So ranking the importance of web pages on the internet. Okay. For which of the for which values between 200 and 3000 does the Collat's conjecture not converge to one? Okay, so the final, just a tricky question. Yeah, so the answer over here is none of the given options because like every time it converges to one. So yeah, there is a query. Is the previous yeah, so every recording is available over here. So let me just share the link. So it's available on the YouTube channel. You can go and have it over here, access it over here, or else you can just go to the Swayam portal and go to this problem solving session. And if you go over here, you will be redirected to Google Sheet and you'll find all the links over here, like for each of the week and the material as well. So if you go over here to this presentation folder link, so you'll find all the material that whatever I am using, like the Python notebooks and the slides. So everything is over here. So you can access them at your own convenience. So yeah, that was the last question that we had. So yeah, that's the end of it. And thank you everyone for joining. It was wonderful having all these sessions and learning with you all. So yeah, all the best for your exam. And yeah, I hope I'll see you all in some other course later, probably. So yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, sir,
Thank
for
you.
the very advice.
So thank you everyone and have a nice day and all the best for your exams. Thank you for joining. I'll end the call now.